Hi friends, welcome to today's full body Yogalates flow. We'll get started right away standing in Utkatasana, mountain pose. Feet are hip width distance apart. Roll the shoulders back and down. Engage the core, slight tuck of the pelvis. And we'll float our arms up, extending them out wide at shoulder height, lengthening through the fingertips, beginning to create some small pulses up and down. This may appear to be a small movement, yet we are going to generate heat quickly in the upper body. Being mindful to tune into the alignment of the rest of the body. Are you broadening across the chest, the collarbones? Seeing if you can relax the muscles of the face. Find length through the crown of the head. Ground down through your foundations, spreading the toes wide. Creating that imaginary 4 points with your feet, maintaining a neutral arch in the foot, keeping those arms strong. Shoulder blades are drawn back towards one another. Small pulses. You've got this. Two more slow and gradual breaths, keeping those pulses going. And from here we'll flip the direction, same movement, this time palms are facing skywards. Arms are extended, keeping the body engaged. Working on keeping the arms in line with the shoulders. This is a mindful practice. This is an opportunity to recognize that body weight exercise can in fact be quite powerful. Observing if your mind begins to wander at all, simply guiding yourself to the breath, to this moment. Two more slow and gradual breaths, keeping the pulses going. And from here we'll flip the grip, palms are facing forward as we move our arms forward and back. Keeping them level, keeping those arms extended. You might be starting to feel a burn here, and that is perfect. That is what we want. Sending nourishing oxygen throughout the body by maintaining that breathing pattern. Checking in with the lower body. Have you locked those knees, or are you keeping a soft bend? Are you engaging the core, drawing the navel towards the spine? Are those shoulders creeping up towards your ears, or can you relax them a little bit more? Allow them to drop back. Maybe closing the eyes, and we'll flip the grip once more, this time palms face towards the surface behind you. Continuing with that motion of moving the arms forward and back. Small yet very powerful movement. Seeing if you can slow down the breath a little more, focusing on gradual deep inhalations and long drawn out exhalations. Throughout the duration of this practice, we will see if we can maintain respiration through the nasal passages, but of course listening to your body and seeing what works for you. From here we'll begin to make some small circles in one direction. Again, keeping those arms lifted. We are not here for long. You are doing well, guys. 5 minutes of arms in the air. Small circles. And if you begin to lose sight of what's going on, just imagine what it feels like to make the circles. Keep those arms lifted with intention, and you've got the right movement. Few more circles in this direction. And we'll go in the opposite direction. So if you were going forward, let's start moving them backwards, or vice versa. Feeling yourself lengthen in all directions, up through the crown of the head, out through either arm, rounding down through the legs. We are creating space. We are opening ourselves to the receiving mode. This is a wonderful series of movements to incorporate throughout your day if you'd like to generate some heat, integrate some focus into your day. No matter where you are, if you have a little bit of space, you can perform this movement. Last little bit of effort. And gently lower the arms down, perhaps rolling out the shoulders one way. Extend the arms overhead. We'll grab the left wrist with our right fingertips, stretching the body one way, swapping the grip and going the other direction. Float the arms down by your side. Take a moment to shake it all out. From here, we'll get set up for Utkatasana chair pose. Feet are hip-width distance apart. Inhale, sink the hips back. Exhale, back to a standing position. Inhale, sink the hips back. Exhale, stand. Lower the hips. Squeeze at the top. Single movements. You've got this. When you're lowering, extending those arms up by your ears, keeping the navel engaged, keeping the core activated. 3 more, and we'll stay down and pulse. Sinking low, seeing if you can drop those hips back a little more, working on keeping those knees in line with the ankles. We don't want our knees to be going over our toes. Finding length along the back of the neck. Can you relax the muscles of the face? From here, we'll join our palms together at heart center and walk out to the side. 2 steps to the right and 2 steps to the left. Keeping that low squat, working on the gluteus medius here, the stabilizing muscles of the legs. Keeping low, nice and controlled movements. A few more rounds. We'll stay down and pulse for 4. Walk to the left, pulse for 4. 2 steps to the right, stay down and pulse for 4. 2 steps to the left, pulse 2, 3, 4. 2 steps to the right, pulse 2, 3, 4. Just like this. Finding your own rhythm. If you want to go faster or slower, it's entirely up to you. Working on keeping the movement low and controlled. Last round of pulses either side, and we'll work our way back to the center of the mat. Taking a moment to shake out the legs, the arms, and we'll walk out into a wide-legged stance, heels in, toes out on a diagonal. We'll sink our hips back, coming into a goddess squat. Keeping a slight tuck of the pelvis. Again, knees are in line with the ankles. Seeing how low we can sink those hips whilst maintaining an upright position with our torso. We'll make some small pulses up and down. Working on getting a 90-degree angle with those legs. If you ever need to take a break, that is perfectly okay. Listen to your body, find your edge, and see if you can breathe through it. We'll stay down and hold, working on splaying those knees out wide, small movements in and out, and back to pulses, up and down, up and down. Staying with the breath, checking in with your foundation, staying low, and again working on opening and closing those knees. Last bit of work. Keeping that torso upright. One more breath. And extend the legs, heel toe the feet together. Inhale, extend the arms overhead. Exhale, lower them to heart center. From here, we will come down onto our mats, coming into a hands and knees, tabletop position. Knees are hip width distance apart, wrists are shoulder width distance apart. If you have sensitive wrists, you might like to drop down onto your forearms or stay grounded in tabletop, tucking the left toes under or keeping them pointed, depending on how your knees are feeling today. We are going to extend our right leg back, squaring the hips to the mat, engaging those quads, floating that right leg up, keeping the foot flexed and lowering it back down. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Small and simple movement. We've got two opposing forces going on right now. We're feeling as though there is an invisible string drawing our heel out away from our body, finding length, as well as using all of the muscles of the posterior chain to simultaneously lift that leg up in its entirety. Checking in with your foundation. Are you stabilizing through the arms, the palms, the fingertips? Triceps are rolled back, biceps are rolled forwards, finding length along the back of the neck, and we'll keep our leg up and pulse. Small movements. 5 more pulses, you have got this. And from here we're going to flex the knee, bring it down in line with the left knee, keeping the leg bent, lifting the leg up. Foot is flexed. Tiger curls. Single lifts, lift and lower, lift and lower, creating a bit of resistance, feeling as though you are moving that leg through molasses, maintaining that activation. And you can either keep your left toe pointed or tucked for more support under the knee region. Working on drawing that navel towards the spine. And if you're looking at the screen, there are deer flies flying about, so that is what's going on with my hand gestures. We'll keep the leg up and pulse. Small movements, working on keeping that right knee in line with hip height, gently lowering it down, and we'll get ready to go on the other side, extending the left leg out, keeping the foot flexed, lift and lower, lift and lower. Remember the two forces here, drawing out through the left heel in addition to lifting that full leg up, working on stabilizing the outer hips, the pelvic region, the glutes. Everything is working together here. Breathing through any tension. A few more, and we'll stay up and pulse. Small controlled movements up and down. Being mindful to square off those hips. If you notice that left leg externally rotating slightly, just guide yourself back to the midline. And we'll come into our tiger curl lifts. Drawing the knee in and up, keeping the foot flexed. Allowing that left knee to come to the midline for just a moment and lifting it right back up, creating that resistance. About 10 more lifts. You've got this. Really starting to feel it in the glutes, particularly in that right hip that's working to stabilize us. Stay up and pulse. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently lower that knee down, dropping down onto our forearms if you're not already there. Using the left forearm as a support, lifting up and out of that shoulder, we're going to extend our right leg up and down on an angle, working on stacking those hips, using the right fingertips for support, lifting the toes and lowering the leg back down. Small movements, nice and controlled. Keeping that abdomen engaged. We want to protect our lower back, tucking everything in. Finding that tripod foundation for stability. We'll stay up and pulse. Small movements. Can you get that leg a little higher? Can you point that foot a little more? Find length through the toes. And back to center. We'll go on the other side. Using the right forearm for support, up on the left fingertips, extending that left leg up and down. Toes ever so slightly tapping the floor and floating that leg right back up with control. Checking in with the face, the shoulders, the neck. Can you relax a little more? Move that intentionality into the legs, into the hips. Stay supported, stay mindful. Last 3, 2, 1, and we'll stay up and pulse. Small movements, keeping that leg raised, seeing if you can lift it a little bit higher. A few more breaths. And gently lower the knees down towards the midline. Sink the hips back towards the heels. We'll come into child's pose just for a moment. And from here we'll transition onto our backs, rolling down one vertebra at a time. We will begin to set ourselves up for bridge pose. Soles of the feet are flat on the floor, heels are close to the glutes. You might like to place the palms on the ground. We'll lift our hips up and lower, lifting up through the pelvis, broadening across the chest, the collarbones. Perhaps flexing the arms and keeping the fingertips pointed skywards. Adding a little bit more of a challenge for stability. Single lifts and lowers, ever so slightly lowering the glutes onto the mat and lifting them right back up. Using those inner thighs to squeeze the legs together, grounding down through the heels. Small and controlled movements. Relaxing the muscles of the face. 3 more and we'll stay up and pulse. Small pulses, seeing if you can get those hips a little higher. While there is a slight activation of the gluteus maximus, we're really working on lifting up through the pelvis so that we're not compressing our lower back. We're almost done. Stay up and hold a static bridge lift. You have got this. Slow, deep breaths, tuning inwards, and gently lower. Taking a moment to draw the knees towards the chest. Gently massage out the lower back. From here, we'll create right angles with our legs. Knees are in line with hips. Feet are flexed, and we'll create some small circular motions like we are riding a bicycle. Really small movements, keeping those knees in line with hips, ensuring that the lower back stays grounded to the surface beneath you, keeping those abdominals engaged, drawing the navel towards the spine. You've got this. And we'll begin to pedal in the opposite direction, so creating small circles in the opposite way. And from here we'll begin to do some single leg lowers. Keeping one leg bent at 90 degrees, we'll lower one toe down, lift the foot up, and go on the opposite side. Using those palms for support to keep you grounded. Lower down for 4 more counts either side. And from here we'll keep both legs up. You might like to place your palms under your glutes and we'll lower both legs down together. Gently tapping the toes down and lifting the legs right back up. If this feels a little bit too much, you're more than welcome to carry on with those single leg taps. Otherwise, being mindful to keep that core engagement connection to the surface beneath you. Twice more, and either staying here or joining us as we extend our legs skywards. Keeping the feet flexed. We are going to lower one leg at a time. You might like to keep a micro bend in the knees or extend the legs. It's entirely up to you. I'm really lowering that leg down as far as you can without compromising form. This is your practice. We want to stay safe. We want to protect the muscles of the lower back. This could mean just lowering that foot a couple inches away from the level of your hips, or you might be lowering your heel right down towards the floor. Every day is different. The fact that you're showing up is what matters most. Once more either side, and we'll draw our knees towards our chest, rock ourselves up to a seated position. From here we'll transition into Navasana boat pose, a few variations for this posture. You might like to place the palms behind your hips. Practice lifting one leg up at a time. You might like to wrap your palms around the underside of your thighs or have your arms out to the side of your waist. Maybe extending them out long, keeping the shins parallel to the surface beneath you or extending the legs up if that's in your practice. 3 gradual and sustained breaths here. Last little bit of work and relax. From here we will transition onto our bellies, lowering ourselves down, placing the palms underneath the shoulders. We'll press up into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Legs are extended back behind us, toes are pointed, broadening across the chest, the collarbones. Exhale, lower down. And again, inhale with control, pressing up, using the muscles of the back, grounding down through the thighs, the tops of the feet. Exhale, lower down, and once more pressing up into Cobra, flowing with the breath. When you're ready, we will transition into Child's Pose, sinking the hips back towards the heels, allowing yourself to surrender to this posture, letting go of any expectations you had for this practice, for this day, simply acknowledging where you are at. And affording yourself this moment of stillness and clarity to collect yourself, to accept yourself. I invite you to stay in child's pose for as long as you like. Thank you so much for today. Namaste.